Jill Bellin right now. She's hanging out with our friends at Duchess Bake Shop. Well, Duchess Bake Shop is in Edmonton, and their chefs have come down to Calgary because they're showing off their stuff this morning with our Jill Bellin, and you guys are getting baking tips right now, Jill.
Yes, tips from the pros at Duchess Bake Shop, and the brand new cookbook is beautiful. Here it is right here and available right here at the Cookbook Company. So it's very comprehensive. We've been delving into some of the recipes this morning, and you start things off with tips and tricks, Giselle. So tell us, what are your top 3 tips for people who are looking to get into baking?
That's right. So I think the first thing to know is that I'm actually not really a super talented baker, but I'm somebody who perseveres. So whenever you get into baking, I think it's really important to not make the recipe once. You have to make it several times. So each time you bake something, you'll kind of learn a little bit more about how the dough should look or the batter should feel. So every time you bake something, the same recipe again, you build confidence. And I think that's a huge part of why some people are really scared of, you know, cracking open the cookbook and trying a recipe. But I think if you just go in there willing to kind of make a mistake and screw up and pick yourself up and try again, that's the #1 tip. I think the number 2, again, along that vein, is like often people will think, oh, well, if it doesn't look just like the picture in the book, they'll be so disappointed and upset. Baking is about having fun. It's about sharing it with your family and friends. And I really think people just need to kind of relax a little bit and enjoy what they made, and rather than just kind of always obsessing with it looking so perfect. I mean, if you put your heart and if you had fun making it, I think that's really what's super important.
Absolutely. Not everybody lives in a Pinterest kitchen. That is the reality. And making things several times over, I'm sure friends and family will enjoy the quality control as well, because you get 7 pies instead of 1. Also, you talk about quality ingredients in the book.
For sure. So using, you know, real ingredients, quality ingredients. You know, we like to use like fresh citrus zest and really good quality spices. Make sure your spices aren't like 10 years old. If you use fresh spices, you can actually really taste the difference. Okay. And equipment too. I think a lot of people think, well, I don't have all this fancy equipment to bake things, but I think a lot of the times you can really make it work with what you have in the kitchen. You don't necessarily need these crazy, you know, kitchen gadgets and tools. Like often you can bake something with just kind of the simple things that you have around.
Do you like to bake by measuring by weight?
I prefer by weight. So definitely in the book we have measurements and weights. If you use the weights, you're going to have something a little bit more accurate. Everybody's, you know, scoop of flour is really quite different from each other. But again, we provided both in there. So if you don't have a scale, that's fine. You can go ahead and, you know, use your measuring cups. But you know, a good kitchen scale is not very expensive. So that's something, you know, it's good to invest in. But
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. This is what the book looks like. It is wonderful for any baker, whether you're starting or whether you're an expert and working on your millefeuille de rêve, which is in the book as well. Duchess Bake Shop, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and welcome to Calgary. They're off to Edmonton after having culinary experiences galore here in Calgary, so we're always happy to have you. One of the top bakeries to dine at before you die, guys.